Welcome. I just want to say I am so looking forward to this conversation. It's been in the works for a while. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, and I show accounting firm owners how to be able to double their income working half the time. Now, today's topic is the real cost of doing in-house payroll and what to do instead. And the conversation I'm going to be having is with Martina Gardot. And you are in the right place if you find that you're just spending too much time on payroll and you want a smarter alternative. Maybe you feel stuck in those low margin services, but don't want to risk those client relationships. Or possibly you're curious about how outsourcing payroll can free up your time and be able to let you do more profitable work, but you're not sure how to actually make that happen. So I suggest you have pen and paper ready or wherever you take your notes, because Martina is very generous. She will be sharing a lot, and we'll also let you know how you can connect with her as we wrap up. A little bit about Martina. She's with ADP, and she partners with accounting firm owners, business consultants, and small business owners across all 50 states. She takes a consultative approach to payroll and HR advising, and as a result, it allows you to leverage innovative methods. There's technology options that you wouldn't have access to otherwise, and of course, AI. So her focus is on helping you reduce the administrative burdens, and as a result of that, you can go ahead and scale your firm with greater efficiency as well as profitability. So if you want to connect with Martina directly, her URL is connect.adp.com/Martina-Gardot, and that's Gerdau. And also the link is right down in the notes as well. Martina, I am so looking forward to this conversation. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
And before we get started with anything, tell me about how you got to be doing what you're doing.
So I always honestly wanted to be an entrepreneur. I love working with businesses and being able to help them on that aspect. So I got into the payroll industry. I'm really passionate about working with accountants and what they do and how they work with their clients. I've been loving what I've been doing, and it's been really great for me.
And I want to just jump right into the big picture. So you work with accounting firm and tax firm owners every day. And how would you actually describe that payroll landscape for the small firms? And are there many trends or shifts that you're starting to see as well?
Yeah, so right now, the trends that we're seeing is everyone's really just trying to recoup after tax season. So most of my firms are going on vacation, they need a little bit of a break. And then they're also just really trying to evaluate their current services and see how tax season went, where things could be going for the next year. So they're really looking to get into more advisory services. That's what we're seeing across the board. They're also asking a lot of questions about how to use AI and maybe ChatGPT to be able to streamline tactical things. And they're just trying to make sure that the time and resources they're putting into different services is generating that profit and ROI.
And part of what I'm hearing is that they had this curiosity, they want to evolve their firms, but maybe they don't really know the steps to do it most effectively. And that's where some of your conversations are revolving around. Is that true?
Yeah. A lot of firms ask questions along those lines, and maybe they don't know what's profitable and what's not. And if payroll isn't their bread and butter, or they're having staffing changes or price increases and different things, then that's something that they might evaluate.
And what I've seen with how firms evolve, especially in the beginning, is that they start out offering bookkeeping, maybe they do tax also, and then they have a client that asks for payroll. So they organically start adding payroll because they don't want to upset their clients. And I just want to say, is it that they're bringing it into their firm because of client demand, or is this maybe something else that contributes to it?
Yeah, so there's four main reasons that we see why firms choose to have payroll. One of them, you hit the nail on the head. It's more the clients ask for it. So it's to be a full service firm is one of the reasons that firms feel like they have to offer payroll to be full service and stay competitive. Another one is to have a sticky product, and keep their clients sticky with the firm instead of going maybe elsewhere. Another thing we see is to bring year-round revenue. So a lot of firms are super busy during tax season. That's when they're making most of their money. And then they use payroll as something year-round to be able to keep that. And then the last reason is payroll really keeps them in touch with their clients on a day-to-day basis, which helps them have opportunities to bring up insights into advisory services that they're probably looking to grow. But what we do see is many times firms haven't truly gone through a payroll evaluation to know if it's truly a revenue generator in their case.
Okay, so then even though they see the benefits of it because of the fact that it lets them remain competitive, it creates a sticky product, there's this year-round revenue, and payroll lets them have many touches over the year with their clients as opposed to just once or twice a year, they're really not doing an analysis to see the cost and benefit and whether there's good ROI on it or not.
Yeah, is that something that you're seeing often in your conversations with your accounting clients?
I find that they a lot of times are bringing it in organically because they think that they ought to, or other firms that they're competing with are doing it also. But then what happens is that it is very time intensive, and they didn't realize that until they got into it. And then and then especially for small firms, if the person that's doing payroll goes on vacation, that creates a burden. Or if they're a solo firm owner and they go on vacation, they have to actually bring their laptop with them in order to process payroll because it's very time sensitive. So that's some of the challenges that I hear. And it goes into a lot of the conversations that we have when I'm coaching them is that they are feeling buried by payroll. Once again, if they go on vacation, they still have to do the work because of the time sensitivity during tax season. It's one extra thing that they have to add to everything else that they're trying to manage and juggle. So there's a cost when firms, especially the smaller ones, try to manage everything in-house. And I was just wondering if there were any other costs aside from the time management part of it that you see with these smaller accounting firms.
Yeah. So some of it is time management, like you mentioned, like they don't want to be doing it on vacation because it is a year-round thing that never ends. People need to get paid. But some of the main triggers that we're seeing is sometimes a lot of firms tell me they never got into payroll or they got out of it a long time ago because of the ever-changing compliance and regulations. So sometimes compliance and all the new rules and everything is kind of too much of a burden on them. Also, it might be that the clients are looking for more services. The clients are also looking to evolve and grow, and maybe they want more of an infrastructure and like a payroll partner. So sometimes that's maybe while they'll partner with a payroll rep and company. Another reason might be costly, like inflation and upgrades. So sometimes their current software just keeps increasing, but they haven't increased their fees. And then one of the other main reasons that we see is a retirement reason. So a lot of firms, they're looking to maybe retire or they're going through staffing changes or just changes overall in their business. And so they're looking to get out of the payroll piece and maybe do more advisory or different things, or they want to start phasing out some services so they can go towards retirement and get that payout.
I think that what you're talking about makes me realize that the firms are probably tolerating payroll until something happens and grabs their attention. And it might be a staffing change. It might be the fees increased, but they're not passing it on to their clients, or something else as far as compliance goes. And so there's some type of thing that happens, event, for lack of a better word, and all of a sudden they're starting to reevaluate whether this is the right fit for their firm moving forward or not.
Yeah, and most firms don't even know that acquisition is an option. So that's why it's really good that we're talking about this today, because that's probably the least known partnership model that we have.
That's pretty interesting. So before we get into that, I know that there's things that and I maybe want to dig into this a little bit further. There are things that happen. Maybe it's a missed deadline. There's compliance issues, like you mentioned. The time thing can be exhausting after a while. So a firm owner might realize this just isn't sustainable. Is there something else that kind of makes them realize that this is something that maybe they're better off not serving? And it's a tough decision. It takes a lot of courage to get to that point.
Yeah, it does. So there are some cases we see where payroll can be profitable. Usually it's not the majority that we see, but if they have the right infrastructure, they're tracking it, and they're making sure that the time they're putting in and the resources they're allocating, their staff and everything like that is a return on investment, then it might be. And then that's great in their case, but usually payroll isn't their bread and butter. They're doing it more so because they feel like they have to. And right now, especially, we're seeing that trend where firms are looking to advise instead of process. So that way they can reallocate those types of services and resources they're using to be able to get more into that advisory piece and empower their firm to advise. So a lot of the challenges, I know you mentioned challenges we see is that they've been doing payroll for a long time, but maybe they haven't increased their fees in a long time. So it's not really matching. Or a lot of times I see firms bundle all their fees together. So if they're not taking that payroll fee out, they don't really know if it's profitable in their case. So just going through the exercise of a payroll evaluation can really help them know if it's profitable for them. And if it's not, then they can reallocate their services and time into more advisory, growing, staying ahead of the competition, different things like that. And we also have a lot of great tools to be able to help them see a complete breakdown of the ROI and what would be the best option for them.
So if they wanted to do a payroll evaluation, is that something that you can assist them with?
Yeah, so we do those all the time.
I
We have
figured.
all the tools and everything, so we can make sure that they have a clear understanding of what that would look like. Yeah.
And the other thing that you touched on, and I don't think that firm owners really think about this, is there's a lot of risk with doing payroll because of the legalities. So can you mention some of the risks that they take on when they are doing payroll themselves in-house?
Yeah. So a lot of the risks are just the different rules in different states, filing on time, doing it on behalf of the client with like a power of attorney, different things like that. There's really so much that goes into it. But also as clients grow, there's different compliance standards like ACA compliance, different things. And sometimes like the firms don't know about it, or they don't want to deal with that because that's not why they went into accounting in the first place.
And one of the things that you were mentioning with the ROI when they decide to go ahead and outsource or offload is that it frees up time. So what have you seen some firms be able to do with that freed up time that they couldn't do before because now they have the capacity?
Yeah, so the main thing is that they like that they can differentiate themselves and now focus on what they're really passionate about. It frees up a lot of that administrative time and the payroll burden, and then they can offset the tactical and get more into the advisory piece, like we've been mentioning. But an example was one of my firms that I worked with. He just really valued his time and realized he wanted to spend more time with his family, maybe travel, have a little bit more fun and not have to do payroll on his vacation. So we actually were able to help him with an acquisition, and he loved that he's still able to be in contact with the clients. So we have a whole dashboard where you're connected to your clients, you're still their accountant, and then it just takes a little bit of that administrative burden off. Another example was a firm we work with, they inherited the payroll. So they're actually young, money hungry, growing firm that is trying to differentiate themselves from the rest. And they realized as they were acquiring new locations, they were inheriting their payroll book of business that was really taking time from their employees to be able to work on the advisory, consulting, different things that they were looking to get into. And so then they loved that they could offload the payroll, get some money back in their pocket for that too, and still be connected to their clients.
And I love hearing about the stories. So do you have maybe another example about how a firm was able to expand or grow or replace payroll with something that was higher value?
Yeah. So one of our other partners, he's a corporate partner. He also was going through a similar thing. Now he speaks at ADP conferences. He was able to offload that, and he's doing like podcasting, a bunch of
Mm.
things like that. And he's really grown in like a different industry too, that he didn't even know that was possible. But he's using all of ADP's resources that you can use through our complimentary Accountant Connect platform. So we actually have an advisory board of accountants that we partner with across the states, and they always give us their feedback on what they want to see from us. So we use that, and then we are constantly updating this platform. So they wanted to use our compensation benchmark reports to
Mhm.
be able to advise S corps on a reasonable salary. And we pay 1 in 5 Americans, so our data is really, really good and reliable. And then another way was if, for example, with the compensation benchmarking report, if their client is maybe larger and they're going through high turnover, they might want to use that report to sit down with their client and be like, hey, have you thought about how much you're paying your employees? Like, why are we not retaining and attracting talent? And this is how you can do it from a benefit side. So a lot of those tools are there to help the firm grow and help them improve their advisory piece.
And one of the things that I saw when you took me through the demo inside the ADP portal was how robust it was for firms
Yeah.
that wanted to move in the advisory uh, arena and be able to grow that part of their firm. Can you talk a little bit more about the portal if someone's looking for adding more advisory services for their clients and how that can be a win-win for everybody?
Yeah. So one of the things is we have so basically the portal, just so for somebody who doesn't know, it's a complimentary portal for all of our firms, and you can have connected access to all your clients. So you see all your clients in one dashboard. You have access to even process the payroll or turn it on automatic if you don't want to deal with it. You can also integrate with your bookkeeping and general ledger. You have access to all the reporting, so you don't need to bug your clients for any report. And then on the advisory piece, we have those data and tools. So we have a bunch of industry insight reports that you can use. We have all of the master tax guides. We have also the compensation benchmarking reports that I mentioned. So you can even see how much to pay people in different states, but it can really help you increase your conversations with your clients. Another aspect of it is that we'll flag if they're out of compliance. So if anybody is dealing with clients in multiple states, doesn't know all the compliance regulations in each one, because you don't want to have to be thinking about those kinds of things, it'll flag it for you. So it'll even tell you if they're out of compliance for retirement or if they could benefit from timekeeping because they have a lot of overtime. So it can help you increase those conversations, and you can even use our resources to generate more billable hours for your firm.
Mhm. And the other thing that I really see with the clients I've been working with that are transitioning over to a payroll service like ADP is that it creates passive revenue. So you mentioned a couple of different ways, and I know that I think ADP offers 3 ways of being able to compensate a firm owner. Can you quickly touch on what
Yeah.
those are?
Yeah, so like I know we're focusing on acquisition on this call,
Mhm.
but we have 3 different ways. So we have revenue share, which is pretty much also helping you offload the tactical side of payroll things. We're doing all the filings, and then you can still be the for the client's partner. And then you're also getting paid a revenue share for that. The other one we have is a run for partner dashboard. So it's white labeled. You can use our software, our technology, and all of our backend work to process the payroll for your clients, and you can bill them directly. So if anyone is looking to grow their payroll space, we have that as an option as well. And then the other one is acquisition. The differentiator there is that you're offloading your payroll book of business, and we pay you a lump sum payment and a higher multiplier.
Mhm. Great, great. So if somebody is listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, this sounds like what I've been needing, how do I get started? How do they make sure that they're reaching out to someone who's going to be a partner and really going to be collaborative as opposed to being transactional relationship?
Yeah, so I would when you're looking for a payroll partner in general, make sure that you're getting all the basics. You want to make sure the company has a good reputation, they're stable, they've been in the industry for a long time. Also, like I mentioned, the whole point is that you don't want to have to do any of the tedious tactical tasks. So make sure that they're automating all the payroll for you. They're doing all the state, local tax IDs, federal tax IDs, and they're doing all the end of year filings for you. And then you want to make sure that they can go above and beyond just that. Since you're working with a partner, you want to make sure they have great technology that's user friendly. You want to make sure they have additional HR services like employee onboarding. They can help you stay in contact with the regulations, that they can help with benefits administration, timekeeping, a workers' comp, a bunch of different things, and that they're able to integrate with all these partners or softwares that you or your clients might be using and like. And then also you want to make sure that your payroll partner and your rep is really there for your business, that they're attentive, that they're knowledgeable about the industry, that they care about you, they know where your goals are at, and they can help you reach those. And they're really helping you with the advisory piece if that's something that you're looking to get into.
And if somebody is just starting to think about this and wants to maybe compare the different options, what are some questions that they ought to be asking of a potential payroll partner to make sure that they are making the best choice possible for their firm and their clients?
Yeah, so I would ask them to make sure that they do all those filings for you, that everything can be automated. Do employees have access to an app so they can view their pay stubs? What are the advisory tools you guys offer? Making sure that they have an Accountant Connect dashboard where you can connect to all your clients, and that they have really good customer service. Those are the main things that I would be looking for.
And of course, the firm owners don't want to rock the boat with their clients. They really resist telling them that something's changing or they're letting something go. So how do you and ADP maybe help support the transition so that it's really seamless and smooth for both the firm owner as well as the clients?
Yeah, so that's a really common question. We get firms are maybe nervous to
Uh-huh.
offload the payroll. The clients are their babies. They've been working with them for years. It's their book of business. And it's also their reputation on the line. So ADP has really good messaging. We make sure that at the end of the day, the client knows the CPA is still their CPA. They don't need to worry about that. And that really ADP is it's just changing a new software. So it's changing to new software for the benefit of the client. Also, accountants love that they can still stay connected to the clients through the Accountant Connect portal, so they're not losing that touch. And it helps the accountants become more of a strategic partner instead of technical. And then another thing we do is we match their current pricing. So the client doesn't need to worry about a price increase or anything like that. Everything stays the same. We match their current services to make sure they're getting the same services they were used to and liked. And then a lot of times the accountants are almost happily surprised that the clients are excited about the move because they're getting great technology for the same price. They can also get more services. So like I mentioned, all the other things ADP does, you can offer that to your clients as well and make revenue on those as well. And we make sure the conversion is timely and easy and at your pace.
And one of the bonuses that I love about what ADP offers is the HR aspect because it is so important, especially for those larger clients. And they might not have an in-house HR department, but they still need to make sure that they are HR compliant. So ADP kind of fills that void as well.
Yeah. That's actually one thing I mentioned with one of my
Mhm,
partners. Like I mentioned, he was getting more into the outsourced CFO space. And when
mhm,
we mentioned the ADP has outsourced HR, that really resonated with him. So they can have an outsourced VP partner, a risk and safety specialist, and all these partners for half the price. So.
mhm. Absolutely. So, Martina, you made some very important points today. I really have continued to learn from you every single time that we talk. And some of the things that we covered is the hidden costs of doing payroll in-house that many firm owners tend to overlook, how outsourcing payroll can actually strengthen the client relationship, and what to look for in a true payroll partner as opposed to just a service provider. So Martina, if somebody is ready to have this conversation with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Just reach out. I'm available. So you can reach out to me via my email. And then the way that we would work is we'll just set up a call. We'll make sure that the evaluation, we'll evaluate for you and see which partnership option is best for you. And what makes the most sense. The way that we do the billing for the acquisition is we'll take the employee's frequency, the employee count, and the current billing that you're paying them. And then we do an Excel and a whole breakdown. And right now we actually have a promotion where we're paying you a 2x multiplier. This ends in the end of June, so by June 27th. But we're actually paying you increased multipliers, and firms usually love that because whenever they go in the open market, we hear that usually it's a payout of about 80 cents per dollar. So 2x is almost, more than double that. So they usually love it, and it's a lump sum payment. So the CPAs that I've worked with have been really excited about that big check in the mail. So
nice. Great offer. So this means don't wait and continue thinking about it. Just go ahead and have a conversation with Martina. She will walk you through all the ins and outs, and then you can make an informed decision as to whether this is the right move for you or not.
yeah.
Anyway, Martina, thank you so much for joining me and having this engaging conversation. This is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solutions, showing accounting firm owners how to be able to double their revenue working half the time.